Keys time.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kris Keys, and welcome back to the KeyZ Method. And we have a special series that we're kicking off right now, and I'm just going to get right into it. We have a special singer, songwriter, and man, just a phenomenal up-and-coming artist. And I think there's so much potential that we have yet to really see from you. And I don't even know if you even know how much potential you have from yourself. But, you know, thank you so much for joining the KeyZ Method, Paris Aryanna.
What's up? Thank you for having me. I really am excited about this.
Thank you so much for coming out. You know, just talk to me. I mean, just you're in Austin. We're both in Austin here. And are you originally from Austin, or are you like everybody else? It's a melting pot where you moved here from Austin?
No, I'm from here. I'm from here originally. Yeah, one of the few. You know, there's a lot of transplants. No shade. But yeah.
But a lot of people claim Austin, even if they're not from Austin.
Yeah,
but
that's for sure.
That's how cool of a city Austin is. But I mean, so I wanted to get into that because you have this kind of like, you know, if you've been here in Austin, there's a vibe that you get. I mean, most cities. But when I listen to your music, there's something a little bit different that I'm hearing. Is that influence of kind of like the Austin music scene? I mean, because it's not really the Austin sound that I hear in your music, but I still hear that original kind of like take me home, you know, a little bit of singer-songwriter vibe in it.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it that way. Like, is my music Austin? Because I feel like we're still finding our sound in Austin. True. We don't really have a sound per se, like Houston or Nashville or New York, you know? So I guess I fit into that because we're such like a hodgepodge mixture of everything.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely am influenced by like singer-songwriters like Alicia Keys, Corrine Bailey Rae. People tell me that all the time. They're like, you remind me of Corrine Bailey Rae. So yeah, like I just love, I don't know, my voice is more of like a tone, I don't know, like a tonal voice compared to like a you know, like Whitney Houston type of voice. Like it's more like, I don't know how to explain it, but
you're not a growler.
It's like a growl sound.
It's very melodic to me. Like when I first heard your music, I was like, oh wow, like the melodies and just the tone is very relaxing. And I guess that's what I was saying for Austin. I guess I'm not from Austin. I'm from Alabama. But when I came here, I guess the guitars, like I heard so many guitar players. And to me, along with the guitars, I heard more singers. Their tone and their melody hit a little bit different than I guess when I came from was the growler, that kind of, you know, gospel scene a little bit. So when I heard your tone, I was like, man, it kind of gravitated it, kind of almost like, you know, I could play your music with the piano or guitar. Yeah. But you do have a full band or full production behind, I guess, what was your latest single? What was it called?
Color Me Free, yeah.
So where did that single come from or originate from?
Yeah, so that single, I was looking for beats on SoundCloud, and I found that instrumental. And when I heard it, you know, I saved it. I kept listening to it over and over. I was like, I love this. I'm going to write something to this. So I reached out to the producer. I just DM'd him, and, you know, we talked about it or whatever. But yeah, I mean,
it's a great track.
Just found it on SoundCloud.
And you know, I think that's the great thing about, you know, the internet now. I mean, you can find so much talent just all around. And I mean, obviously for you, I mean, you're not really looking for a particular, I mean, I guess website. You're just like looking for good music at the time, you know, whatever hit you, and SoundCloud provided what you was looking for.
Yeah, I get on BeatStars, YouTube, type beats on YouTube. Like,
Hey.
that's a really good way for up and coming artists to practice writing, is just like find random beats and build your muscle that way.
Mm-hmm. So was that your first release single or music, or do you have release more before that one?
Before that, my first single ever was like back in 2017. And so that was called Next to You. And the producer was Martin Cardona, and he's really dope. He's an engineer and everything too. But yeah, that was my first ever single, and found him on SoundCloud.
Shout out to SoundCloud.
People think SoundCloud is dead, but
we're gonna reach
they're
out to
still
SoundCloud
popping. Yeah, but after that, my first like single was Already Gone, which was produced by Billy Blunt. Have you heard of him?
Shout out to Billy Blunt. I'm actually gonna have him come through next week.
Oh my
We've
God.
done some work together as well.
He's dope. That's what's
Very
up.
talented.
He's so talented. And I found that on BeatStars. I found him on BeatStars, and I was like, read his bio. It said he was in Austin. I was like, wow, that's what's up. It's such a small world,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shout out to Billy.
Yeah.
So he produced one of your songs as well?
Already Gone, and he produced my other single, It's All Good.
Very nice.
So he's dope. I really want to connect with him more, but he's pretty busy. He stays working. So
yeah, definitely see Billy so what's your direction now? I mean, if you have a few songs, what's your direction now moving forward? Are you working more in the SoundCloud? Is that your go-to spot? Or obviously you have BeatStars and stuff, or are you looking now to kind of get that one-on-one in the studio with the producer, or open to working with people on the internet? Or what's your mindset now moving forward on music?
So moving forward, I really am looking more at working one-on-one and building from the ground up, because I like coming up with like chord progressions on the piano and coming up with like the raw concept, but then I need the producer, you know what I'm saying, to come in and tweak it and make it into this beautiful end result of a full-blown song. So yeah, and then I like to co-write, so I am reaching out to different people I know and starting to push myself to collaborate with other people, because any hit song that you look at, period, there's like 4, 5, 6 writers on that thing. So it's a skill that I'm wanting to build up. Yeah.
So you just said a lot right there. I mean, for definitely anybody that's watching, if you're just wanting to get into music, or even if you've been into it in a while. So you said you're looking more to get in the studio with the producer. So why is that any different than, I guess, a SoundCloud or a BeatStars? I mean, it's a beat, right? Or what's the difference for somebody reaching out? Is it easier? I mean, obviously you say you can play the piano and get them going, but for somebody watching, what's the difference you see in working with a producer kind of there versus a beat maker just sending you an email?
I think both are great. It's just two different ways to do things. And I think if you want to be more integral in the instrumental part of it all, then you want to be in the room, because you can be like, okay, what if we do this chord instead? Or you can kind of like co-produce your sound, almost compared to like, here's a full-blown beat and you're locked in kind of to what the beat is. You feel like it forces you
creativity to kind of go in that lane?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
But it's also fun, because it kind of gives you, like, to me, I feel like having boxes or like parameters like to work in, it can be really fun, because you can be super creative with your voice to like, I don't know, make the beat sound doper, like way doper than it did by itself, So I feel like both are good. Yeah.
Would you prefer to start with your melody, or have a producer kind of start with the idea and then build off of that way? Because I know me personally, like after producing for a while, like I like a melody first from a vocal.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I don't have a preference. I think a lot of the times, like, I always have a lot of notes in my iPhone. Like, it's so full of notes of lyrics and ideas. And a lot of the times, my voice memos is also full because when I write lyrics, I'm already thinking of a melody.
Yeah.
You know, so in that case, yes, I can go to a producer like you or a producer who already knows, like, really what they're doing, you know, and say, here's the melody I already have, and then you can build around it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice, very dope. So I mean, another thing that you said is, you know, a lot of songs, the hit songs, which is very true, they come with the collaboration effort. So I mean, talk to me about collaborating, I mean, with you and the mindset that you have with collaborating. Is that a big deal? I mean, we just hit this is 2020, you know, going into 2021. This is the COVID season. You know, how has collaborating been for you working out with the situation?
The situation, man. It's been great because of Zoom and because of the internet. You know, like, I was blessed to be a part of a songwriting camp with Universal Music Publishing and with SoundSync, and so I got to be paired up with writers. I was in two different groups, but, you know, different songwriters and producers, right? And they were in Brazil and LA, and I'm in Austin, so normally it's hard for, like, Austin artists to get those kind of opportunities because it's, you know, in LA and New York. But because of, like, COVID, they basically had their first ever virtual camp. So we were able to just do our sessions over FaceTime and Zoom and all that, you know? So it's been great.
So let's dive deeper into that. So you partnered up with, was it Universal and Sony, or
it was Universal and SoundSync.
SoundSync. I apologize. So y'all was able to come together using Zoom and create a song, a whole song.
Yeah, I created two different songs. I was in two groups, so.
I mean, you got to take us through that process because everybody hasn't, you know, went through that whole Zoom.
Yeah.
And they might want to try it out. Like, hey, how can I continue expanding out using this? So take me through a little bit of the process, a little bit of the steps. How did you? Day one, how did y'all connect and say, I'm in Brazil, I want to send you this? Like, I mean, that's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, and I was, like, shook because I had never done this before either. So, but basically, you know, we in this situation, we kind of just had a concept to write around, and so we had to figure out our time zones, like, really nail down a specific time.
I didn't even think about that
part. Because I think they were, like, I don't know, a few hours ahead or behind in Brazil. So we had to, you know, be organized, like, okay, this time, and then we would get on a call.
That's the studio session right there.
Yeah.
Right? What's the studio session time for everybody? Okay.
Exactly. And then we would talk about it. But what I like about it is that you can have time to go home all that night the next day, think about stuff, record voice memos, send it back and forth. So it's like an ongoing, seamless thing compared to the pressure of, like, you're in a session, you've got 4 hours, you got to get this done, you know? So, yeah, that was kind of the process, going back and forth, sending this, mixing that, setting up sessions, and the end result, you know, was dope. Like, it was fun.
Man, that's awesome, man. I think it's pretty cool to find ways to still kind of stimulate working in the music industry or being active, you know, with the whole COVID situation. You know, it has really taken a toll on a lot of people, and definitely, you know, here in Austin, this is a live music community. So a lot of the live music scene has actually been, you know, hurt because, you know, they you know, a lot of the venues have shut down or bands, you know, just, you know, not being able to work. So that was pretty cool for them to put that together.
Yeah.
So is Zoom something you think you'll use moving forward? Is that you think still creative platform, to create.
Yeah,
If
I
we have to
think so.
get okay.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you live in the same town, you might have opposite work schedules, if you're not like a full-time musician. So it could be much easier to
Right.
hop on a call and do that compared to like meeting up in person. But it all really depends.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So one other thing I wanted to talk to you about is what's next after, you know,
Mhm.
for you once you put a song out. Is it different for you getting in the studio and then performing that song?
Yeah. So basically the recording process, it's a lot of refinement back and forth, after the fact.
Mhm.
Like you can really overthink things more in the
Is
studio.
that the stressful part or is that
Yeah.
the fun part? Because
It's both. It's both.
yeah, it's a fun stress.
Yeah, it is, basically. So, but then live, it's like, yo, this is it. There is no, let me redo this song. Like, you gotta just be ready and finish the whole song all the way through, Practice your vocals. Also, if you're a singer, because it's not like the studio where you can, like, splice your best takes. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
have to really be ready. So, yeah.
I get more nervous live. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
play more live. I have seasons where it's kind of bounce back and forth, but I think live is, I just get more nervous.
Because you have people watching,
Maybe so. Because, being
Yeah.
under the bright lights is a little bit different. See, I feel like being a artist is a lot more intimidating. I enjoy being in the background.
Producing or playing live.
Most definitely. Like, it takes
Yeah.
courage to get out there.
It does, and that's why I appreciate independent artists like so much, and really artists period, because even if they're not your cup of tea, even if you think they're trash, like you still gotta respect at the end of the day that they are confident enough to get up there and perform. A lot of people would never, you know what I'm saying, like have
have
this
never
confidence to do that.
I've never done karaoke.
Oh, for real?
I'm too scared. I was too scared.
Oh my God. Everyone's drunk. They don't care. You could sound it. You be good.
So yeah, the potential of me being an artist is not this lifetime. Yeah.
Maybe the next one. You reincarnate as like the next, Michael Jackson. Or
I got to
something.
get past karaoke first. So shout out to all the artists with
Yeah.
the courage out there.
Shout out.
Yeah, definitely. So is there anything else you think, like, for up and coming artists that, heading into 2021, just from your experiences so far, putting out, several songs, recording, you've done live shows, being able now to really transition into possibly the new music industry for a little while,
Yeah.
Zoom. So, I mean, like, is there any tips or suggestions that you have for somebody now looking to record music and release it moving forward? Or that any advice, period? I mean, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be just for this era. That might be a tricky question.
Like
or something,
for
but-
releasing music in general.
Yeah,
Tips?
I think there's always strategies. Or
Yeah.
I look at releasing music with strategies. You have, say, for instance, say the independent. We have the big guys like, say, Russ. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
He's an independent guy, but he's making a lot of noise for his strategy on just release music every week.
Yeah.
That was my strategy, singles, and then you have somebody else, their strategy might be, I'm going to market this one song for 3 months or,
Yes,
2 months
and
or
push
something
that.
like that, pre-release, that whole strategy. So, I mean, what's your opinion or
Yeah.
moving forward that you think, what do you even like to see
Yeah.
from artists
I
when they
think
release?
moving forward, like, there's a lot of ways to market these days. But I do think from my experience, like, social media marketing is a big thing, obviously. Video content, it moves the fastest, gets the most interaction. So trying to get a music video together along with the single. And I recently did a workshop, like a music business type workshop online. And one thing they said that really kind of put me at ease was like, you're still an independent artist. You don't have to feel bad about pushing something for like 6 months,
Yeah,
because that was one thing. I'm like, I don't want to bother people, but it's like, no, people are still finding you. People are just now getting to know you. So don't feel like you have to keep up with these artists that have budgets, and a huge fan base. Like, you gotta pump out music every month, every week. You may not have, the budget for that, the time for that. So I would say just start where you are. Try to find somebody you trust who knows a little bit more than you, and get a marketing plan together.
Man, that's awesome advice. That's very good.
Yeah.
I think that's, man, you can't do more than that right there. I mean, start where you are.
Start where you are.
Yeah. And I think sometimes starting where you are might not be going to the studio. Starting where you are might be going to the Guitar Center and, picking up a little interface and a microphone, or not even, or just starting on your phone and recording your ideas that way. I mean, like you said, you have a voice memo.
Probably chock full of voice memos.
Send me about 5 or 10 of those. Let me create to those. But I mean, start where you are. And guys, I look at it this way. The music career I look at it as a journey, as a long distance journey. And to me, if you're doing long distance, it's hard to maintain sprinting the whole race. Some of that you might want to walk, some of it you jog, and then once you find your rhythm, then you start sprinting from there. But the key thing is starting out. And I think a lot of people starting out on that music journey, this long journey. I mean, you're talking about years and years. Quincy Jones is probably 80 something years old. He created, Michael Jackson, the greatest album of all time. I mean, he still does music right now. So think about this. If you're my age or younger, you're going to be doing music for the next decade, 20, 30, 40 years. Wow. So the possibility of you sprinting, just relax a little bit, So I think of it like that. So the number one thing to start on that journey is to get started, which you've done.
Number one.
And once you get started, you start seeing other people being like, hey, I see you walking. Can I walk with you? And then that walk with you might turn into a producer or a collaborator, another artist.
Yeah.
And then you start walking, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, we got some momentum. We put a song out. Now we jogging. And then boom, now we getting some media people calling or opportunities to work with Universal. I mean, that was a huge opportunity right there to connect. And I mean, that's sprinting right there. I don't know if that's jogging, but that's probably a good sprint, and an experience that now once you slow down, you'd be like, okay, when I'm maybe jogging and walking again, it doesn't feel like, maybe you feel like I'm not moving or I'm at a standstill. But those are good times right there to, okay, now let me think about my technique. What did my sprint not go as long because
your business too.
My business went together. A great time to slow down COVID was to get your business together. Maybe some graphic arts together, your content together. So just look at it that way. Maybe that scenario kind of helps somebody. Starting out, because I mean, it is very, very overwhelming for anybody. Like, oh my gosh, I gotta, like you said, do all this stuff.
It's very overwhelming. Like, that was one thing, that I want to touch on is, when I first started, like, wanting to put out original music, it was tough. I was going through a lot of mental battles of like, I'm the type of person, I want to know A to Z. But God was like, Paris, you can't know A to Z. You have to do this one step. And from there, you build momentum. You will meet the right people. You will, if you're doing what, you're called to do, your passion, your purpose, like, you don't have to have it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out. Even people who are seasoned, they're still, what I'm saying, learning. So just get started one step at a time. Don't compare yourself to other people. That's another big thing. you're on your own unique path, period. So,
Amen.
amen. Church right there.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely the music. It can be a trap sometimes, trying to, follow and, be inspired. I like to be inspired.
Yeah.
And I definitely like to, look at, people, I guess, on the same level that I'm on and be inspired and kind of connect with them. It's like a job or sports. I play sports. So when I play basketball, it's like I try to find people in my same age group and try to play with them, find people that are a little bit better than you. And like you said, connect them. And hopefully y'all find a way to kind of help each other and push each other to get better. And I think that's the beauty of music, because it's no rules, and guys, music is really not a competition. It's really not a competition.
It feels like it a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like you said, everybody has their own lane. Everybody has their own unique sound. Everybody, to me, really can find their niche audience. Like, you don't have to try to compete for the same fans.
Right.
I feel like a lot of that plays into scarcity mindset, lack mentality. There's not enough. There is enough, there's more than enough. So don't even worry about that.
Right. Yeah. Trust me, if you want a number one, 5 people send me a link and I'll buy 5 right now. So we'll have 5 number ones. 5
Woo!
People will get us a download. Seriously. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the tough thing too, which, I mean, it does cause a lot of artists to fall into that mental kind of depression, feeling of, is that emotional roller coaster is.
Yeah. Disappointments, like rejection, all that. That can wear you down,
Yeah, definitely. Do you do any, I guess, meditation or things to help you kind of cope with that?
Yeah, I'm really big into meditation, actually. That's funny you asked that. But I meditate a lot. I journal a lot. It helps me when there's so much going on mentally and it's so chaotic. When you write it down, it just like transfers to the paper. And then you're like, So journaling, meditation, for sure.
I was talking to my friend. Yeah, he was like, definitely trying to get on a daily routine of journaling again. And I'm not a big writer.
Really? You don't?
I need something else other than journaling. I mean, I do. I have some pages.
Yeah.
Written down of some stuff, but it's very difficult for me just to get in the habit of journaling.
There was a lot of people struggle with journaling. Another thing you can do that I used to do, like, for my mental health is voice memos. Like, talk to yourself. Basically, you're your own therapist. And, like, you talk about, because you know how it is, like, mentally you could be ruminating over stuff, but you're not verbalizing it.
Right, you're holding it in still.
You're holding it in, and you can't get that emotion out because it's suppressed. So just talking and recording yourself, and then months later even, you can listen back and be like, wow, I forgot I went through that. Or like, what was I even going, because I forget a lot of stuff, and then I realize, oh, like, I was going through this at the time, because you're so caught up in life, you forget certain things. And it's really helpful and beneficial for your growth to look back in detail and see where you were and where you are now, Yeah.
So does all of that tie back into your music, you feel?
Yeah, like, my next project, I don't know exactly what it's going to be as far as, like, an EP or singles, but the concept I have is more about self-love, more about my spiritual journey, because I feel like so much music is about relationships, and, like, every song is, like, about a relationship, and I want it to be more about the relationship with myself and with God, with the universe, so.
That's it right there. I mean, that's what I was talking about right there. You definitely hear that in the music. It's no question about it.
That's awesome.
You totally do.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have to go back through all those journals and find. We're gonna compile about 10 of those
There's
memos.
A lot.
And
yeah.
it's a great song in those journals somewhere. Maybe I'll start doing that. I'll start maybe doing the voice memos.
The voice memo thing.
Yeah. I'll try that instead of maybe journaling, or maybe half and half it up.
Yeah, and I mean, I watched a TED Talk. You can just binge watch TED Talks because some of them are really good.
Yeah.
But it was about why you should write down your life, and that's what kind of kept me going with journaling.
Why you should write down your life.
I might send it to you later, but why you should write down your life. And he talked about how beneficial it is to look back, through writing.
It is always cool when you look back and be like, what was I thinking in 5 years ago or a year ago?
What was my day-to-day like? Because, you kind of can forget. I forget a lot of the details. I'm more of a big, I'm like a big picture person. So I just forget all the, bullshit details. But sometimes the devil's in the details, you can really get to the nitty-gritty and realize things about yourself. So,
man, I can't wait to hear this new project. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Get excited.
Yeah, definitely. So, tell me a little bit. I mean, so you have a lot of resources and tools. I mean, now the music is kind of coming together to me now. Hearing your story, just why your music sounds that way, and just the energy that you have. The energy that you put into your music, your mindset. Yeah. And also to add to that too, you play the piano, right? I mean, you know your notes a little bit. It's just to say that because I'm coming out with a piano course here pretty soon. So tell me, how did that get? Did you teach yourself or did you take lessons?
So I took lessons for 9 years every week. So it was that real rugged, training, classical training. And my grandma, shout out to my grandma, she put me in piano at 9. And nice. So I kept going with it, and it's helped me tremendously, with my ear. And some engineers, they crack me up because they're like, damn, you hear every little thing. I'm like, yeah, that's flat, that's sharp,
Right.
But it's because when you're a musician and pianist, you really internalize what the note is, in your core. So if you're singing it and it's not that,
Right. So you say the piano has helped you in the studio?
With ear training, yeah, for sure. And choir and all that stuff that I did growing up. In church, playing in the church. I used to play keyboards in the youth band, and it was more relaxed than playing in the adult main service because it was just the teens, so I didn't feel as pressured,
Right.
I don't know. So yeah, that helped me too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I was playing the piano in our youth choir growing up.
Yeah.
Youth band. That was my favorite one.
Vibes.
We was rocking too. Shout out to Bright Hope in Athens or Alabama.
In Alabama.
In Alabama, yeah, it's right outside of Athens. I forget what city it was in, but
cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So you grew up classically trained and played in the church. I feel like the church, that's where you get the feeling from.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't care if you play the right note, just gotta feel it,
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really learn that in some other, I think, genres or something. It's
it's a unique, I
feel like the classical is okay, we get the right notes. That's where the ear training and maybe came from.
Yeah. And I mean, choir too. I joined the adult choir at church when I was 14. So I was the youngest person there and at the time. And so I got really good training that way too from really good singers and music directors. So
got a real broad music background then.
Yeah, I've always been doing music. I
guess you can't really not do music in Austin. What's the Austin music scene? The Austin music scene when you was since you're from Austin?
Mm-hmm.
It's always been the Austin
It's
like
always
the music
been
scene.
it's always been live music based, you know, like growing up my mom is a singer, and so she was like my first inspiration, you know, because we would listen to her little demo CDs and she would play little gigs like around Austin. This was back, you know, like in the 90s, and
That's cool.
so yeah, Austin has always been in my lifetime. I'm still in my 20s, but you know, like up and coming live music vibe.
You like the Austin music scene? You think it's pretty good with all the opportunities for you to play and meet so many musicians and
Yeah.
South by and events and festivals and music foundation. I think Austin is a fabulous town for music, especially artists starting out.
Me too.
You know, I really feel like this is probably one of the best cities. It's interesting to see how we're going to be out of the COVID going forward. But I think even with that, you know, I think Austin is still one of the better cities where you can kind of get out here and spread your wings at an affordable way. You know, the music industry is expensive, but you know, you go to LA, that rent and that gas and the prices of food, everything else comes pretty fast. Where in Austin, you can still find you a Jack in the Box and a Whataburger or something. If you don't know what those are, you gotta come to Texas. You know, obviously, you know, it's, you know, hundreds and hundreds of venues for you to get up there and actually play your original music and you know, try it out. You know, have the world as your guinea pig, and actually Austin kind of accepts, you know, people like that. You know, that we accept your good and your bad. We want to grow with you throughout your whole career. You know, that's what I kind of love about Austin.
How long have you been here?
I've been in Austin, let's see, I've been here since 2009. Hit the ground running. I've actually been here 10 years, yeah.
That's crazy.
Got the allergies.
And body converted to cedar fever and everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I think it's a good place to be. It's still overwhelming to an extent when you're starting because there is somewhat of an industry. There is an industry here. So you can kind of feel like, oh my God, like where do I start? If you say, you know, you're starting and you want to start playing live. But there's so many restaurants, like I'm talking about when COVID is over with, like practically any restaurant for the most part. If you say, hey, I want to play a little gig, they'll be like, okay. Right. Because they are really supportive of live music. So, yeah.
It's definitely will be considered a landing spot in my path for sure, you know, that I'm proud to be a part of. What's your favorite place to eat here?
That's hard. Oh, my God. I like brunch. I like breakfast. So, I would say... Oh my God, I'm on the spot now.
Maybe something I haven't had yet.
I love so many breakfast places.
Like a breakfast taco or like a breakfast
like
sit down?
Waffle, like sit down. Have you been to, it's just a really small place called Mary's Cafe. It's by UT.
No, I haven't.
It's like off of Dean Keaton, I want to say. That area, but that place is good. I just went there on Saturday. They have really good Belgian waffles.
Mary's Cafe.
There's a lot of places though. A lot.
All right, Nick. If you ever come to Austin, Miss Paris right here said go to Mary's Cafe.
Yes.
You will not be disappointed. Well, man, I really do appreciate you stopping through the KeyZ Method and just sharing your story and just some good just experience and knowledge for the up and coming artists, and you know about the Austin scene and food and your piano and just your whole story. Tell people where they can find you at so they can catch your music. Colors of Me or
Color Me Free.
Color Me Free. I'm sorry. Color Me Free and
get it together. Color Me Free. It rolls off the tongue.
Color Me Free. I'm telling you guys, this song. This is when I became a fan, and she'll tell you, I don't know, it might have been what? I think you told me 8 months ago or 6 months ago or something. I heard some of your music. I don't even know how I came across
I
it.
was gonna ask you how you came across, but you probably don't know.
Well, I'm a music producer. I'm always scrolling. I'm always scoping.
Yeah.
Always. And I came across your music, and I probably went through about 30 people by that time. And I don't know. I was in here and I was like, man, let me play that back. Like,
yeah.
I was like, let me play it back. And then I was like, man, you can't be from here. And then I was like, oh, you are from here. And I was like, oh, even better. Let me reach out right now.
And so you didn't know I was from here when you first heard it?
I never heard you. I never met you. Never. At the time, I didn't even know who Billy was.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a while ago.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So this was so I didn't know who you were, and I was like, oh, you're in Austin. You have to come by the studio right now. I have to meet you. What do you got going on? And then this whole COVID thing hit and kind of slowed things down. But time, everything works out, and here we are now. Yeah. Excuse me. Got a chance to really even get to know you better. So I'm even more excited now because the music is even going to be even more special because we got a chance to, connect and see exactly the good vibes we're going to give y'all.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
But yeah. So I'm sorry. So tell the people where they can find you at. I got distracted in,
the backstory.
The backstory.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Paris Aryanna. It's actually PARIS_ARYANNA. You can find me on my Facebook page, Paris Aryanna, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to music. I'm on all digital platforms. So check out my EP, Color Me Free.
All right, guys. And I'll put a link definitely links below and also the music video as well to that as well. So guys, thank you so much, and thank you, Paris, for once again stopping by. Hey, until the next time, you guys know what it is. Y'all be creative. Peace.
It's Keys time.